Hello gamers, and welcome back to another free-to-play Ultimate Iron Man Progress video. Starting off, I want to give a quick GZ to North Pattern on 89 smithing. Congrats on that rune scimitar, dude. Next, I want to give an absolutely huge GZ to Freckled Dad on being the first to 200 mil rune crafting for free-to-play. Dude's an absolute beast. Huge GZ again. Sorry for the recording. I was actually on vacation during this, so I had to record on mobile. But real quick, I want to give a quick shout out to the whole runners community, especially those that put in a lot of hours helping Freckled Dad out with this one. I know he wouldn't have been able to do it without all you guys, so just quick shout out and thanks again for helping him. So last time we left off, I was killing Ogress warriors using melee. So this is kind of what I ended up doing after 80 prayer. Essentially, my goal was that I was trying to get supplies for crafting and smithing and such, and so I gave a shot at meleeing them for the first time. I kind of went through a few iterations of this. So the first one, which is kind of where I ended up last time, I was in the room with the tuna spawn, not prey flicking and using that tuna spawn there and cooking it to kind of heal the health that I was losing as I was killing them. This worked for me for a little while, but I ended up kind of getting annoyed by how much I would have to, heal myself and how much I had to focus on collecting the food and all. So I eventually ended up switching to prey flicking. Now, prey flicking, I thought at first that I was going to be really annoyed by it, but I kind of picked up on it pretty quickly. And honestly, it just made it a lot easier, a lot simpler. Like, sure, I was clicking a lot more, but I was clicking every 4 ticks. It's very consistent. Prey flicking first the damage I was being dealt, and then prey flicking the offensive praise to get some more damage. And this worked out for me for a while. I started off in the first room there with the tuna, doing that still, but eventually I moved back to the Dragon Slayer locked area, just because there were a few less crashers, and the back room has the 3 Ogress warriors that you can attack. And so I did that for a while. I got some pretty good rates, and then I eventually, as you can see now, switched over to using strength pots as well. Using strength pots is actually pretty easy. I ended up making a quick video about it earlier, but essentially it's pretty easy to just pick up the limp words, teleport back to Varrock every now and then, collect the red spider eggs, and make them. It's really not that difficult of a process at all. It really only takes a little bit of inventory management. So I'm glad I did that, because that definitely sped things up. I was coming into Ogresses with pretty low strength and attack levels. And Ogresses they're really hard to get HP on, especially for melees when things like Hill Giants exist. So did a bit of that, and eventually I finished my goal, and I got all the lore runes I needed for my next goal. And here's me just using up the couple thousand nature runes I got, doing superheat smithing. So while I'm doing this, I just wanted to give a quick update, kind of just in regards to the channel. So you guys might have seen that over the past couple weeks, I've been uploading some skilling reference videos. So this is kind of something I want to do outside of just the regular progress, is just every time that I'm doing a method, just making sure that there is on YouTube a video reference of me doing that method. Both, for me to go back and kind of see what I was doing, and also for the community in general to just see what a method looks like, how click intensive it looks, like how much mouse movement there is. So I made one for Ogresses, both killing them and making strength potions. I made one here for superheat smithing, just without using any snow. And I plan on making a bunch more in the future, just for any method that I happen to be doing. So definitely feel free to give those a look. I kind of want to mimic what tannerdino does on his channel, with just including a lot of the different methods and just clips of doing them and kind of what the rates I get and all that. So definitely give those a watch if you haven't already. And if you got any methods that might be adjacent to what I'm doing at the moment, definitely feel free to ask me to make a vid about them. I've already done one that someone was requesting, so I'm definitely happy to do more in the future, especially if I already have the supplies and can just quickly hop over there. So with the nature runes out of my inventory, that brings me to my next long-term goal for this account, and that's going to be going for 99 crafting. Now, this is going to be a goal that's going to take me a long time. I was really only at Odris's just to get the law runes because I was originally going to race another member of the World 385 clan, Zyafer, to this goal. But since he's not playing that much, it's not really going to be a race for me anymore, more than it's just going to be a goal that I try to keep myself to and really just grind out. So the method I'm going to be doing for this, for the most part, is going to be Varrock Southwest Silver Tiara crafting. Now, this is generally considered to be the meta method for crafting for really all free-to-play Ironman accounts, especially for UIMs. Now, if you remember from some of my previous videos, I was originally doing Crafting Guild Silver. Now, that's a slower method, but I always enjoyed doing it more because it was less click intensive, there was less hopping, there were way less crashers, and it was just, in general, a more enjoyable method. The problem with that is that it was just so much slower. When I was doing my absolute best, like when I was doing max efficiency hours at at Crafting Guild, I was really only getting like 14.6, 14.7k an hour crafting XP, and that's compared to even modest effort at Varrock Southwest, getting all the way up to 17 up to 18k an hour doing the single hop method. And so that's sort of what you're looking at right now. It's just me kind of starting the grind. This is definitely going to be an interesting grind to do. It's going to be my first really long-term grind. This will definitely get me the most EHP of any of my other skills. It'll beat the 400 something hours I have in rune crafting, and that's this is going to be going outright. At least I'm starting from a good spot. I'm pretty much starting from the halfway point at 92, and that's definitely going to be a big boost in getting me going because hopefully it'll only take me a couple hundred hours. I'm estimating that it's going to take me to somewhere in September to get 99 crafting. That's if I stick to the goal I have, which is 1 mil crafting XP per month. Now that's not super outrageous. It's really only like 2 EHP a day I would need at around like 17-ish K an hour. The problem though is that I'm notorious for wanting to skill hop and burning out on the really long-term grinds. So we'll see. This is something I really do want to stick to, but obviously if something major comes up, like there's a major meta change for some reason, or something like a new skill comes out, or maybe like a temporary method for some other thing comes out, maybe like an unpatched thing from forestry, I'll definitely check those out. But for the most part, I definitely do want to stick to this goal. And so this is something that I'm going to be doing for probably the next, couple months and really trying to stick towards getting it in September, and if not then, getting it at least before the end of the year. So with crafting being a hop dependent method, meaning that the XP rate is dependent on how fast you'll be able to hop worlds for mining, it was eventually time for me to finally start to research into the double hop meta. Now, if this is your first time ever seeing a method like this, or hearing about double hop at all in general, let me give a quick rundown. So essentially, whenever you log into this game, there are certain things that the game has to do before you're able to be logged in. Like it goes through a bit of startup, it goes through a couple other random checklist items. But one of the last items on that list is checking to see if you're online already. And if you are, and you might have seen this before, you'll get a little pop-up that says like you are already logged in. Now, because that part of the checklist is towards the very end of the startup process, you can take advantage of that with a second client by essentially playing your account from when you click that login button to when it hits that final checklist item to do a couple actions in game, whether that be mining or burying bones for double hop or really anything else that's world hop dependent. And with that, you're able to use two clients to bypass the usual amount of time it takes to just regularly world hop, which is usually somewhere around 5 to 6 seconds. So what you're seeing on screen right now is a version of double hop, which is taking advantage of that mechanic in order to hop between the worlds at Vera Southwest faster in order to mine an inventory of silver faster than I normally would just single hopping. Now, within double hopping, there are two main mechanics or two main methods you can use to take advantage of this mechanic. The first is the normal double hop method, in which you start the login, plan your account, and then manually log out, and then manually log back in. Now, this is the more difficult of the two, but it was one of the first methods that was discovered for it. And it allows you to get a bit faster rates and to do a few more actions, before you decide to log out and decides to hop worlds. That's a valuable thing if you're trying to mine all three of the rocks at Verat Southwest. However, the method that you're looking at right now is a version of double hopping called continuous hop. Now, this takes advantage of the fact that because world hopping is a 5 to 6 second action, if you just keep clicking on a new world within the actual world hopper menu in game, you're able to just continuously hop between worlds every 5 or 6 seconds. Which means that if you can do your action that you're looking to do within that time frame, you can just always be hopping. Now, I found that this method worked very well at the two southern rocks at Verat Southwest, as you're seeing here. Now, this works because with a few kind of recent updates they made, especially the update which took away the one tick buffer, or the one tick little bit of lag or whatever that you would get when you mine silver. Normally this method wouldn't work, and that's why the double hop method, or rather the double hop meta for this method, is the first version of double hopping I talked about. But because now you can mine silver much faster, and combining that with the fact that having a high mining level like myself, I'm able to generally get these successful rolls very quickly. It allows you, especially at my 97 mining, to do this continuous hop method and get at least one, but ideally both of the silver rocks. And so this speeds up the mining tremendously. Now, I'm still working on this method. This is something that I'm going to be slowly working on over time. But so far, my fastest single hop hour I've done at crafting was an 18.3k hour. And that's currently tied for the fastest hour, as recorded in the free-to-play clans hour record submission. But even with some of the methods that I've been doing, or some of the hours I've been recording so far with this, I'm getting upwards of 19.4k an hour. And that's a pretty big increase from the 18k I was getting doing my fastest single hopping. So I'm going to be continuing to explore more with this method. Ideally, I want to see what happens once I get 98 mining and 99 mining, which are two things I will get before I get 99 crafting. I think it is possible to get a 20k hour doing this method, and so I really want to shoot for that, and I want to try to do my best to get that kind of hour. So, yeah, this is something you'll see more of, and I'm just going to stop talking for now, and I'm just going to let you guys watch a bit of this method, and you can hopefully start to see how am I clicking, how I'm hopping, and just the kind of faster rates I'm getting.
Quero lhe contar como eu vivi e tudo que aconteceu comigo. Viver é melhor que sonhar. Eu sei que o amor é uma coisa boa. Eu sei que o amor é um. 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 Que o amor é um. Que o amor é um. Quero lhe contar como eu vivi e tudo que aconteceu comigo. Viver é melhor que sonhar. Eu sei que o amor é uma coisa boa. Eu sei que o amor é um. Que o amor é um. Eu sei que o amor é um. Eu sei que o amor é um.
So anyway, that's really all for now. Again, thank you everyone for watching and following me on Twitch and watching my Twitch streams. I'm trying to stream at least like twice a week, but some weeks it works out, some weeks it doesn't. Definitely feel free to give me a follow though. Now, as I approach the eventual 99 crafting goal, I'm not going to have too much progress to actually make videos to talk about with. So my next couple of videos are likely going to be a bit shorter. Really just going over the bit of progress I made, maybe a mining or a smithing level here and there. Maybe some updates about what's going on in the community and the game in general. I'm definitely curious to see how forestry turns out for free to play and what they start talking about with this new skill and if that's going to change any of the meta. But yeah, thanks for watching everyone, and I will see you all next time.